In this video, I will demonstrate how to properly hold an instrument while exploring the linguals of tooth number 29 and tooth number 30 using an 1112 Explorer. First, you need to hold the Explorer using a modified pen grasp. You can do this by placing your middle finger and thumb across from each other, making sure that they don't touch or overlap when you're rolling your instrument. Next, place your middle finger onto the terminal shank, and then your ring finger will rest on tooth surfaces, and this will act as your fulcrum. Since we will be working on the lingual surfaces, the linguals are facing away from me, thus I need to be on the 11 o'clock position of the patient. The patient's chin is down and can be turned towards me. Next, you need to determine if you have the correct working end of the instrument. You can do this by placing the terminal end interproximally or in the distal of the tooth, making sure that the terminal end is parallel to the axis of the tooth and the functional end is up and over the occlusive plane of the tooth. So let's begin. I will begin by placing my fulcrum on tooth number 27, the facial incisal surface, and also on the facial occlusal surface of tooth number 28. I will adapt the the terminal end onto the lingual surface. Working my way to the distal surface, my elbow is tucked towards my body, and I will provide a gentle rocking motion as I approach the distal surface of the tooth. Let's begin. Rocking, 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 rocking. Rocking, 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 rocking. Now that I am on the distal line angle, I will be rolling my instrument in between my index finger and my thumb, and then pivoting my elbow away from my body. So I'm going to rocking, rocking, roll, pivot, rocking, rocking, roll, pivot, rocking, rocking, roll, pivot, rocking, rocking, roll, pivot. Now that I am on the distal surface of the tooth, I'll provide a more vertical up and down motion, stroke. Up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Next, I will roll my instrument and place it back on the distal line angle, and this time I will be providing a more oblique stroke as I approach the mesial surface of the tooth. So side to side, side to side, side to side, side to side, side to side. Once I am on the mesial line angle, I am going to pull my elbow towards my body as I roll the instrument between my fingers. So side to side, roll, pivot, 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 side to side. Now that I am on the interproximal surface, interproximal area on the mesial surface, I'm going to apply a more vertical up and down motion. Up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Next, I will be exploring the lingual surface of tooth number 29. Adapting working the terminal end onto the lingual surface of the tooth, placing my fulcrum 2 to 3 teeth away, rocking, roll, pivot. My elbow was initially towards my body. Rocking, roll, pivot, and now I'm pushing it away from my body. Rocking, roll, pivot, rocking, roll, pivot, rocking, roll, pivot. Up and down, up and down, up and down. Rolling, side to side, roll, pivot, 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 up and down, up and down, up and down. So let me repeat exploring both tooth number 29 and number 30, starting again with tooth number 30. Establishing my fulcrum, establishing my fulcrum, adapting the terminal end onto the lingual surface, rocking, 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 roll, pivot, 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 rocking, rocking, up and down, up and down, up and down, rolling, placing the terminal end onto the distal line angle, side to side, oblique strokes, side to side, side to side, side to side, side to side, roll, pivot, 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 side to side, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Next, I will do number 29 again. Rocking, rocking, roll, pivot, 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 up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Roll, side to side, side to side, roll, pivot, 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 up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Thank you.